Do negative thoughts, feelings, or emotions bog you down? Maybe keep you from engaging in activities or relationships that are important to you? My name is Peter Tsurkis, licensed clinical social worker with CJE Counseling Services, and in this video, I'll introduce you to a therapeutic approach called diffusion. We'll review some techniques to help change the relationship with your internal dialogue that might keep you from living your best life. Psychological jargon can be confusing, so I'd like to encourage you to use words that might resonate with you. Some similar words to diffusion are unhooking, letting go, or separating from. Diffusion is a concept used in acceptance and commitment therapy. In this type of therapy, we want to allow space for negative thoughts and feelings. Why on earth would we want to embrace the things that can cause us to feel depressed or anxious? That sounds counterintuitive, right? Imagine for a moment I asked you not to think of a white polar bear. I've just placed a thought and a very specific image into your mind. Now, if I asked you to go about your day and not think of the white polar bear, I bet you're more likely to think about it and have a hard time not thinking about it. Similarly with feelings, the more you try to suppress or avoid them, the more possible it is for them to negatively affect your life. When our thoughts, feelings, or experiences get the best of us, we can become our worst critic. Guess what though? That's a normal function of our brain. Our thought processes can turn to self-criticism to help us correct course for the future, or remind us to be more prepared or patient the next time, or whatever the case might be. At the same time, our brains can overcompensate in this way. We can end up with constant self-critical monologue in our heads, which can lead to depression, anxiety, or crippling self-doubt. It's important to remember and regularly remind ourselves we're human. We're not perfect and just trying our best. One way of doing this is to incorporate a quick self-compassion exercise. A simple way of doing this is by thinking about someone or something that you care about. Think about a time when they were struggling and how you responded. Think about how you tried to reassure them. Was it a kind word, a hand on their shoulder? If it was a pet, maybe a belly rub. Next, think about how you respond to yourself when you are struggling. Chances are there's a difference. If you can treat someone or something you care about kindly, you can do the same for yourself by noticing a negative thought, process, and responding kindly to yourself. Now that we've started examining how we can respond to and reframe our internal dialogue, let's look at another technique. The next technique takes practice, but can make a huge difference when trying to unhook or put some distance between negative thoughts. If you begin to have negative thoughts or feelings, try to notice them instead of instantly getting caught up in them right away. Here's an example. If I start to tell myself something along the lines of, "This situation is never going to get better," my internal dialogue instead would say, "I notice I'm having this thought that my situation isn't going to get better. Let me try to think of some steps I can do to make things better in the present moment." Why is it worthwhile to unhook from negative thoughts? Here's another example. When struggling from negative thoughts or feelings, one thing we can do is acknowledge that our thoughts, feelings, and internal dialogue are neither right nor wrong. They just are. On the conservative side, it is said that humans have 6,000 thoughts a day. Can you imagine what it would be like to stop and respond to each of those thoughts? Now, the next step might sound silly, but after a negative thought or feeling has entered your mind, I'd like you to try thanking your mind for having that thought. If your thought is saying, "I'm not good enough," or "I'm a burden," respond to that thought by saying, "Thank you, mind. I know you're trying to make me my best self and looking out for the people I care about." Or, "Thank you, mind. That's an interesting thought." By doing this, you've acknowledged and provided space for the thought, but you've also reduced the internal chitter-chatter trying to debate if the thought is right or wrong. Today, we reviewed diffusion, a concept of acceptance and commitment therapy to help us put some distance between our negative thoughts and how we internally respond to those thoughts. Remember to practice the techniques we reviewed to get the full benefit from them. Thank you for joining me. To make a referral to get more information about CJE Counseling Services, please call us at 773-508-1000. Counseling services are billable to Medicare and other insurance. Co-pays and co-insurance may apply and will be identified before services begin. Sessions are primarily conducted via telehealth or in person at CJE Senior Life offices in the Bernard Horwich Building at 3003 West Touhy Avenue in Chicago, and Weinberg Community for Senior Living at 1551 Lake Cook Road in Deerfield.